Here in Kenya, government efforts to conserve forests and the wild has resulted in the gazettement of many areas, including the Mount Elgon region. While the measures look to greatest conservation intentions, a community that has resided in the forest for decades is unrelenting in their resolve to defy the government directive, saying the move threatens their very existence. Our reporter Trick Singado visited the Mount Elgon region and filed the following report.
It is a story of a heritage claim that has been violated over and over. The Ogiek people in Kenya's Mount Elgon region want to be heard, to be understood, and for the government to let them carry out their sacred duty as guardians of the forest. The Mount Elgon region is home to majestic beauty. However, the conditions under which the local Ogiek community live by are far from it. They have to deal with the lack of basic infrastructure, and on top of that, constant eviction notices from a land they believe is rightfully theirs, adding insult onto injury. The Ogiek are a humble, low-maintenance lot, living off the land and giving back to nature by protecting it, something of a tradition here. You see, to them it is taboo to cut down trees, and when they absolutely have to, these elders perform special rituals to appease the gods before doing so.
Other benefits from this forest, sisi tuna benefit from fuel. Kama miti imeanguka, sio hadi sisi tunaangusha alive this one. Ikianguka branch ile imedry kule juu, ikianguka chini mama anachukua na kwenda weka kwa meko. Tunatengeneza chakula. Alafu unaweza kushangaa kwa nini sisi tunakula nini kwa sababu huko chini umeona chakula nini. There is a belief here kwamba hii udongo ikipinduliwa, yani ukikata hapa ndio nyasi ifunikwe iende chini, iwe kama hapo, imekuwa sasa ni dhambi kwa sisi. So tunaokopa kutumia jembe kutengeneza hapa mahali pa kupanda chakula.
Tilling the land is also against tradition. They do not cultivate anything. So instead, they still rely on the good old barter trade, where they exchange commodities with farming communities like, say, a goat for maize meal or a chicken for a bag of beans. The Ogiek people feel such a sacred duty to the environment that they do not even dare cut down trees to make structures. So instead, they use grass shoots and bamboo sticks like these to make structures for themselves and their animals. It is a romantic way of life that sees them go out of their way to alert authorities on intruders such as poachers, charcoal burners, and individuals that squander the forest's resources while paying no mind to the consequences. Illegal poaching, logging, charcoal burning and other activities are perpetrated by individuals from outside the community. When the government evicts the Ogiek, presumably to protect the forest from destruction, it is ironically left vulnerable and susceptible to these activities that lead to the deforestation and the loss of wild endangered animals.
Yani na kuna notice, ama kama kuna notice wanakuja wanapatiana notice ile short kabisa na tunafukuswa na tuelewe kwa nini, kwa sababu hakuna sababu wanatuambia. Hakuna mahali pa kwenda, so mnaambiwa hapa ni forest. And sisi tunashinda forest namna gani? Shamba letu ndio liko kwa forest ama forest ndio iko kwa shamba letu?
They longed to go back to their way of life before the colonialists pushed them off and mapped the land in ways that only suited their farming ambition. Their dream to be left alone, however, is constantly being squashed by constant eviction exercises, 9 to be exact, since independence. A stream of eviction notices also robs them of their peace of mind, the latest having arrived at their doorsteps on the 10th of March. There is a court order pending, but it does not give them much hope.
Semesana na serikali, kwa nini mmechukua hospitali? Na hali sisi hatuna mahali pa kwenda na ni ardhi yetu. Serikali ikasema ni county council ndio imesababisha hii. County council ni authority, ile competent authority within the crown, the land penye mnatoka. Sasa tukawa tunaongea na hawa, mwishowe tukaona hawataki kusikia sisi, tukaenda kotini 2008 mpaka wa leo tunamenyana na serikali mbele ya court.
Social infrastructure here is minimal. Only 5 primary schools, no secondary schools, hospitals or police stations. This Maram Road, the closest thing to modern infrastructure locals have seen since time immemorial. This exposes the community to various risks. Experts reckon it would be better if the government met the community halfway by handing them tenure rights other than access rights. This way, the community members will feel a prolonged and even stronger conviction to take care of the animals here as well as the forest.
When these are communities that are traditional occupiers of their lands, who have the knowledge, who understand the lands and who know they want to protect it into the future for themselves and their children, then they have the motivation, the intention and the willingness to do that. And they're always supported by KFS, KWS, other conservation agents.
Government policies and laws that take into account the people's well-being are also seen as a great way to solve the Ogiek people's problem.
Community land bill is going to resolve problems of communities that previously have not had a chance to own their lands.
While their way of life may be seen as rudimentary, it is in fact a way of life deeply intertwined with unconventional ways of conserving the environment. Trix Ingado, KTN News, Nairobi.
So it is a community that is steeped in tradition and wanting to be left alone to live their lives as they know best while still conserving the environment. In fact, it's 9 evictions to date, as Trix Ingado tells us in her report. She joins me now live here on Bottomline East Africa. Trix, an interesting story. So what are the options available for the Ogiek people? You talked in your story about tenure and access rights. We also know about the community land bill.
So we have land tenure rights and access rights. So according to experts, the tenure rights are better than the access rights because the tenure rights give the people, the indigenous people who feel the land is their own, the right to actually call the land their own. And when they have these tenure rights, they will be able to work together with other agencies such as the KFS and the KWS in conserving the land. So it's not theirs entirely, and they're not going to be alone entirely, but they will be working with the KWS in that they will be reporting. So let's say like there's poaching, they're going to report to the KWS, raise the alarm. Because you see, if a society feels that this land is mine and it's going to be my children's, I'm going to protect it. Rather than when I feel like I can access it, but it's not really mine, I'm going to maybe go in there, burn charcoal, make a profit, run off, because after all, it's not mine. And also, we are looking forward to the community land bill, whereby land communities shall be given the land based on their ethnicity, their culture, and the common interests of the people living on their land. So this basically is the Ogiek people, because they have the same kind of motivations behind their stay there. This is their heritage, this is their land, and also they feel a responsibility to take care of it. So this land bill will ensure that they have title deeds to their land and they can claim it for their own. So as you can see, this will change everything. They won't feel like they're being left out of the whole grand scheme of things. For you see, the colonialists, they pushed them out back in the 60s. The government never reversed it, so it's meant for animals and forests, and they feel like
neglect by the governments and administrations. Just a quick one, best practice, you mentioned tenure land rights has worked in other countries.
Yeah, actually there has been studies all over the globe. There have been 40 countries where the tenure rights were, 33 actually, where the tenure rights were given to people, and 40 where there were the other kinds of rights, where access rights, where nobody was given the right to use the land as they wish, as their own, and take care of it. So if they found that where the tenure right was implemented, it was successful in that it was doing 6 times better than the other areas. So you see, this is something that has been tried in Brazil, it's working in Tanzania, it's also working in Bolivia, Mexico. It's something that can actually work, and we're seeing that there's no need to take care of the environment at the expense of the people.
Finding that very tricky balance. Trix Ingado, thank you very much for that report on the Ogiek people. We'll be watching keenly, and I'm sure you will be updating us on just what happens with these bills and what happens to the Ogiek people. Trix Ingado, thanks very much.